The year was 2022. In Korea, a 16-year-old girl suffers a heart attack while learning taekwondo. By a stroke of luck, she receives a new heart from a man who is anything but ordinary. In the same way, that mysterious man's lungs, eyes, and kidneys found their way to other patients in need. And that's when a series of events began that would give rise to a new god on Earth. Let's dive into this extraordinary story. At the start of the story, we see an ambulance carrying a patient to the hospital. Unfortunately, the young guy dies on the way. Before his death, he had signed a form agreeing to donate his organs so they could help other sick people. Now, 2 doctors begin surgery to remove his organs. But strangely, his skin is tougher than a rhino's. They struggle to get the organs out, but after a while, they finally finish. Suddenly, a nurse screams and runs out. The doctors rush back into the operating room and find that the patient's body is turning completely to ash and disappearing. Later, that man's heart is given to a young woman named Ina. Oddly enough, her body accepts the heart perfectly. She recovers quickly and is sent home in just a couple of days. But to her surprise, a round mark appears on her hand, looking almost like a tattoo, though she had never gotten one. Ina's dad is a taekwondo master who runs a gym. Since childhood, she loved learning taekwondo. But during one match, she had a heart attack, and ever since, her dad has been terrified about letting her fight again. After the operation, he didn't want her involved in any kind of fighting. One day, while her dad was talking to the landlord, Ina walked over and kicked a punching bag so hard it ripped from the ceiling and crashed to the floor. She had never been that strong, even when she was completely healthy. She wanted to test this new strength and see if it was truly hers or just a coincidence. She went out to the street, tied her shoelaces, and sprinted toward a raised area, running like the Flash. She even overtook a man on a scooter. For a moment, she felt like she could fly, but suddenly the road sloped downhill and she couldn't stop herself. A small truck was parked below, and she hit it so hard it almost tipped over. Ever since she got that new heart, Ina had become incredibly powerful. Someone secretly recorded her and uploaded the video online. Since her name was visible on her taekwondo uniform, a boy tracked down her gym. He tried taking photos of her from a distance, but she instantly caught him. He couldn't understand how such a small girl could be that strong. That's when Ina noticed the boy had the same strange mark on his arm. His name was Jack, and he told her he'd also received an organ from the same man. He believed those organs were the reason they had superpowers. He explained that one person can donate 6 organs, meaning these powers might exist among 6 people who got that man's organs. Jack wanted to find the others. The very next day after meeting Ina, they tracked down a 3rd recipient. That day, Ina secretly joined a race because the winner would get an expensive pair of shoes. She easily outran everyone and won. As she admired the shoes, an older woman approached, handing out drinks for free. She explained she'd had a kidney transplant and was now completely healthy. Hearing this, Ina and Jack immediately checked her arms, but there was no strange mark. When the woman turned around, though, they saw the round symbol on her lower back, meaning she too had some kind of superpower. The next scene takes us to a luxurious house, where an old man named Mino was on the verge of death. His eldest daughter stepped outside to call the doctor, saying, "You said Dad would get better, but he's not improving at all." Just then, Mino suddenly sat up in bed and said he was starving and demanded food. On his hand, we also see that strange symbol. Clearly, the wealthy old man had powers as well. After that, we see a young man in an electronics store casually cracking his knuckles. Suddenly, all the TVs in front of him shut off at once. Wherever he went, the voltage kept fluctuating. His name was Zero. He crossed the street, entered a building, and used his powers to win a lot of money from gaming machines. Then he started buying luxury items with his winnings. Zero was also one of the 6 people who had received that mysterious man's organs, and he was taking full advantage of his new life. Next, we see Ina again, this time having a meal at a restaurant with Jack and the woman named Sophia. They're talking about their superpowers. Jack says, "I got new lungs, so my power is tied to them. If I blow hard enough, I can create a real storm." But Sophia replies, "I haven't felt any power inside me. And yeah, I got kidneys." Jack answers, "Don't worry. When all of us with powers gather together, yours will awaken too." Right then, all the light bulbs above them start flickering. That's when Zero shows up. He says, "I can usually tell from a distance if someone has superpowers. After my transplant, I got that strange man's eyes." Jack doesn't like this new guy at all. He warns Ina, "We can't just trust everyone. One of us could be bad, and some might want to use their abilities only for themselves. We need to think twice before trusting them." The next day, Ina gets a weird message. Zero had called her for help. He'd been caught cheating while gaming, and the club's security guards were demanding he give back all the money. They mocked him, saying, "What are you, Pikachu? Controlling electricity with your fingers?" While that was happening, the other three with powers arrived to help. But Jack didn't want to get involved. Scratching his foot, he walked off toward the restroom. The hero inside Ina woke up again. She said, "We can't just stand by when something wrong is happening." She quickly grabbed a straw from Sophia's drink and held it under Jack's nose. Jack sneezed so hard that a terrifying blast of air shot out of his mouth, throwing all the thugs across the room. Then we see the wealthy old man, Mino, arguing with his partner. Things get so heated that Mino grabs his partner by the neck and starts draining all his life energy. The man ages rapidly while Mino becomes a bit younger. Mino then touches a nearby tree and drains its life force too, leaving it completely dried out. After Mino, we meet another powered person, a factory worker named John. He was pressuring the workers, shouting, "Move faster! We've got to work all night." One worker got angry and said, "Sir, this isn't right. You're overworking us. We have lives too." As they argued, an alarm suddenly went off. One of the workers had fallen from above. Safety measures there were terrible. When no one could see the injured worker, John secretly placed his hand over the man's wound. Within moments, the injury healed completely, but John felt intense pain himself. He quietly moved aside, enduring it in silence. Meanwhile, the rich old man's daughter, Tina, realized her father's new strength must be connected to the organ transplant. She told her people to track down everyone who had gained abilities through those transplants. Soon, her assistant managed to find them all. At that time, the new heroes were sitting on top of Sophia's drinks truck, trying to escape gang members, the same ones from the club still chasing them for revenge. Tina's assistant saw this and immediately followed. 3 vehicles tore through the streets at high speed. Ina kept ramming the car in front because she was driving way faster than the rest. Soon she left all the pursuers behind, but the gang wouldn't give up. Jack started tossing bottles from the car at the thugs. White liquid splashed onto their windshields, making them lose control. The 4 barely escaped with their lives, but their car was going so fast, it crashed straight into a barbecue restaurant. They pretended they were just waiting for food, wondering why the waiter hadn't come. As night fell, they stepped outside. Jack and Zero started arguing again. Jack yelled, "Because of you, we almost died today." The fight got so heated that everyone walked off alone. Ina felt deeply hurt by this breakup. She'd been on medical leave for a year, hadn't gone to school, and had no new friends. Spending time with Jack and Sophia meant a lot to her, and now it seemed like everything was over. The next day, once Jack had cooled down, he went to Ina to apologize. "I was angry and went too far," he said. "I'm sorry. Please forgive me." Ina acted a bit dramatic at first, but then forgave him. Now she planned to gather the other 4 again. Meanwhile, Tina's assistant showed her recorded videos, and Tina decided they needed to capture these people. If she could extract power from their bodies and create medicine, who knew how many diseases it could cure? And having such a drug would make her incredibly rich, since she owned a pharmaceutical company. By then, Ina, Sophia, and Zero had arrived at the meeting spot. Zero had already found out who'd received the liver after their transplant. They were all just waiting for Jack so they could hunt down the new member who got the liver. Over at the factory, we see John talking with his supervisor. He says, "Sir, we need to improve worker safety in this factory." But the senior officers won't listen. Workers' lives mean very little to them. John's workload is so heavy that he even skips his lunch break to finish, while his exhausted co-workers leave to eat. No one notices a nearby gas tank slowly leaking. Outside the factory, our 3 heroes are still waiting for Jack when a huge explosion booms from inside. John rushes to evacuate everyone so fewer people get hurt. Unfortunately, one worker gets trapped behind a safety door. John panics and starts smashing the window with his helmet, but it's no use. At that exact moment, Ina arrives. She kicks the door with brutal force and breaks it open, then boots away gas canisters flying in from the blast. But the inner electric security door is extremely tough. Zero steps up. He can control any electrical device. With a snap, he unlocks the door. Jack shows up late, but finally gets there. Smoke is everywhere. They can't find the injured people. Zero snaps again and turns on everyone's ringtones so Jack can locate all the workers. Jack can rescue them easily because he can hold his breath for a long time thanks to his powerful lungs. As soon as they bring an injured worker out, John uses his ability to heal him, but this time, it's way too much for John. He gets sick, starts coughing hard, and blood comes out of his mouth. Sophia realizes poisonous gas must have gotten into John's lungs. She grabs John's hand, and with her other hand, grabs Jack's. She can link one hero's power to another. Jack's lung power flows into John, and John recovers instantly. Sophia discovers her ability right then, but the toxic smoke is filling the factory fast, so everyone starts to get out. Suddenly, Sophia stops halfway because they accidentally left Zero inside. Jack holds his breath and runs back in. When he finds Zero and brings him out, everyone thinks Jack will blow the gas away, but instead, he gives Zero mouth-to-mouth to help him breathe. Somehow, they both make it out safely. The scene is so odd it probably made a lot of people laugh. Anyway, Zero gets out okay. After that, the five of them head to a nearby restaurant to eat. John tells everyone, "I've got the power to save any living creature. I can take someone's pain into my own body. If I put my hand on them, they heal, but I suffer a lot. After some water and a bit of rest, I'm fine again." Because they worked together and saved everyone during the accident, a special bond forms among them. The next day, John goes to the hospital to see his injured co-workers. In the elevator, he runs into the old man, Mino. John works at Mino's company, so he salutes him. By mistake, Mino sees the mark on John's palm. Mino steps closer, studies it, and says, Well, that's a tattoo." John replies, "No, sir. I had a liver transplant recently. After that, this mark just showed up on its own." When Mino asks him directly if anything else has changed inside him, John is conflicted about revealing his superpower. He stays quiet and says, "Not really, sir. I just feel healthier than before." Hearing that, Mino makes a plan. Before leaving, he memorizes John's name, address, and job. That night, John takes a driver gig to earn extra money. He notices his passenger is Tina's assistant. Before John can react, the assistant knocks him out. When John finally wakes up, he finds himself in a hospital. Tina tells the doctor to quickly remove the liver, but before they can start, Mino shows up. His intentions aren't good. He asks the doctors, if part of the liver stays inside the body, will it regrow on its own? When they say yes, Mino immediately grabs John by the throat and tries to drain all his energy. But with John, it doesn't work. Mino feels like his power has weakened, so he tries it on a nearby doctor. The doctor ages from young to old in seconds and dies on the spot. Mino realizes his power won't work on superpowered people. He orders a doctor to cut out 90% of John's liver and transplant it into him, leaving 10% inside John so it can regrow. Because of this, Tina doesn't get the liver. She tells her team to capture the remaining superpowered people. As Jack leaves a store, men in suits pin him to a wall. They try to knock him out with chloroform, but he isn't breathing in, so they tickle him to make him exhale, and he passes out. The same crew attacks Sophia and Zero, and they're captured quickly. Finally, Ina is surrounded right at her front door. Seeing the thugs, her dad says, "Honey, sit here comfortably. I'll handle them, but this taekwondo master only has the kind of skills you use to teach little kids. He can't really fight." Ina secretly beats up the thugs, so it looks to her dad like he's the one taking them down. He thinks he single-handedly defeated them all, even though Ina did the real work. With her flash-like speed, every time her dad turns around, he just sees her lounging on the bench while the thugs run away. He rushes to her. "Are you okay?" Ina is fine this time, but everyone else is not. Tina's people have captured them and thrown them into a prison where they can't use their powers. Meanwhile, after his liver transplant, the old man Mino regains vitality. He looks younger than his own daughter. Tina, however, has been silently waiting for her father to die so she can inherit the company. Now, seeing him young again, she feels like she'll die before he does. Mino heads home, showers, and admires his youthful body in the mirror, delighted. Suddenly, the room goes dark and he's transported somewhere else. A mysterious force stands before him with open arms. Mino reaches out to grab its hands, but the unknown force pulls him in. His face shifts from young back to old in an instant. Furious, Mino yanks his hands away and realizes it was all in his head. The cut on his hand from breaking the mirror heals instantly. Still unsatisfied, he decides he'll take every organ from every powered person, so all their powers exist only in him. He wants to become so powerful that people worship him. Tina is helpless before her father's strength. Mino storms the prison Tina built and beats down her guards. They're no match for him. He quickly finds the 3 captured heroes. Zero is trying to snap his fingers with his toes because his hands are bound in a weird way. Just as he's about to make the snap, workers arrive and haul him away. Zero manages a toe snap to send Ina their location, then snaps again to unlock Sophia's cell door. But a doctor knocks him out the next moment. Meanwhile, Ina is gearing up to rescue her friends. When her dad finds out, he insists on going with her. Beating the thugs earlier has filled him with strange confidence. Back in the operating room, one of Zero's corneas has already been removed. Luckily, he wakes up just in time and manages to save his other eye, though the sudden return of consciousness damages it. Instead of killing him, Mino hands him over to John so John can heal him again. Meanwhile, Mino organizes a massive event to show off his new powers, inviting people whose illnesses were considered untreatable. Everyone is stunned to see his youth restored. To demonstrate, he smashes through a wall displaying photos of his older self, but the crowd is terrified. There's no respect or devotion in their eyes. Mino immediately changes tactics. He grabs a disabled man's hand and, using the power he took from John, fully heals him. Then he walks to a very sick girl and cures her too. Now the crowd sees him as a literal god. They kneel and bow their heads, worshipping him. In the midst of this, Mino senses Ina approaching. He's already gained Zero's power. He snaps his fingers and opens every route for them to arrive. Then, for dramatic effect, he sits on a grand throne and faces Lisa and her father. Ina instantly realizes this is the man draining her friend's powers. Without hesitation, she kicks Mino and his arm actually breaks. Because he carries John's ability, a little water quickly heals it. Right then, Sophia and Jack arrive. The 3 friends reunite. Mino snarls, "Perfect. You're all here. Now, hand over your organs." Ina's dad, puffed up with false confidence, steps toward Mino. Mino flicks his wrist and sends him flying. Using her speed, Ina snatches her father out of danger so he isn't badly hurt. A brutal fight erupts between Ina and Mino. Ina has power from just 1 organ. Mino has 3. He overwhelms her fast. Jack and Sophia rush in. Jack blasts Mino with a powerful gust, knocking him back. Enraged, Mino jabs a finger into Jack's forehead and knocks him out cold. He grabs Sophia. She reverses it and starts draining Mino's energy. Shocked, Mino realizes Sophia can transfer a hero's power into someone else. "Fine," he says, "then give me the others' powers. No need to steal their organs." At that moment, Zero and John arrive. The 5 of them unite to face Mino. Mino gathers all his strength to finish them in one go. Ina stands at point and whistles to Jack. Jack understands and hurls a jet of wind at Ina, supercharging her speed. She slams a punch into Mino. Still, Ina can't beat him alone, so the others combine their abilities to support her. Mino is still too strong. He seizes control of the surrounding electricity. Zero snaps and counterattacks with the building's power grid, but it isn't enough to drop Mino. The fight shakes the hall. Massive pillars crack, statues tumble, and below them, the worshippers keep praying to their new god. Badly wounded, Mino absorbs water pooled on the floor and heals himself. He hurls the heroes like balls in different directions. Then he clamps one hand around Ina's throat and tries to kill her. Blood starts spilling from her mouth. He reaches for Sophia, but the 5 close ranks and grab Mino together. Sophia swiftly channels Mino's healing ability into Lisa. Now, Mino has completely lost his self-heal. Ina becomes far stronger than him and pummels Mino like a heavy bag. After a flurry of blows, Mino can't take it. He collapses, unconscious. The building starts caving in on Mino's worshippers. The heroes scramble to brace the structure and save the crowd. In the chaos, Mino lunges again and tries to steal their powers, but Ina's father spins back and kicks Mino, sending him flying. The team rips the remaining power out of Mino. He instantly ages back into an old man. He's seated on the same throne that once lifted him up. Zero snaps and drops him in front of everyone. When his followers see their god as a frail, exhausted old man, the truth is exposed. At last, Mino loses everything. And that's where the story ends. How did you like it? Tell me in the comments. I'm signing off for today because this story turned out pretty long.